And good morning, I guess. 11:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just a little review here of some content I found. I don't know, a couple months ago, I guess, and it sort of builds upon the show last night when we were talking about intellectual property transfer and the ability of publicly funded institutions, state universities, and so on and so forth to find a way to benefit or profit, if you will, and allow the surrounding community to profit, at least conceptually, from all of the investments that they make and have made over the years. We have here, and I have to get a little bit more off the side. This is the Office of Technology Transfer, National Institutes of Health, Bethesda, Maryland. There we go. That's a little bit better. And this is the 1992 PHS Technology Transfer Directory, National Institutes of Health, ADA, HMA, I don't know, MHA, I don't know what that stands for, CDC, Centers for Disease Control, and FDA. So the Office of Technology Transfer, the OTT, is responsible for the central development and implementation of technology transfer policies and procedures for two major components of the United States Public Health Service, or PHS, the National Institutes of Health, NIH, and the Alcohol, Drug Abuse, and Mental Health Administration. Oh, I didn't know that. The ADA, MHA. The OTT, or the Office of Technology Transfer, also provides patenting and licensing services to other PHS components, including the Centers for Disease Control, CDC, and the Food and Drug Administration. Let's see here, Bernadine Healy is listed as the big quote here. Technology transfer is a vital methodology for NIH to realize her. I guess NIH is female. That's fine. At least it's one. Bernadine Healy, to realize her mission. And at the time, she was the director of the National Institutes of Health. Just reviewing her background here. Bernadine Healy, she was an American cardiologist, and she was the first female director of the National Institutes of Health, NIH, so kind of an important person. Born in New York City, she filled in the role when it was opened up by James Weingarten, and the role was filled after she vacated the directorship by Harold Varmus. During her career, Healy held leadership positions at Johns Hopkins, Cleveland Clinic, Ohio State University. She was also president of the American Red Cross, American Red Heart Association. I think she was conservative-leaning, and she had a lot of influence in work that I believe was ongoing with respect to the Human Genome Project, DNA vaccines, etc., anthrax vaccines after September 11th, 2001. In 2001, she led the organization's response to the September 11th attacks. She was a Republican. She actually ran for a senator for the state of Ohio at one point. Anyways, going back to this PDF that we have open up for 1992. So this was published in 1992 when she was the director of NIH. So the technology transfer, as this document reads, is the process by which the fundamental discoveries of laboratories are brought forth into practical knowledge and useful products for the benefit of mankind. Who could possibly disagree with that? The Federal Technology Transfer Act, the FTTA of 1986, followed by Executive Order 12591 in 1987, resulted from a congressional recognition that the public good in the U.S. industrial competitiveness can be greatly enhanced if technology developed in federal laboratories is developed commercially. In order to stimulate technology transfer, incentives are offered to federal scientists and their laboratories, as well as to industrial partners. The FTTA encourages greater interactions between the federal government and universities, foundations, profit and nonprofit, and industry through cooperative research and development agreements, or CRADAs, CRADAs. Again, that's cooperative research, development, and agreements, CRADAs or CRADAs. I saw that word a lot used in some documents which were, I wouldn't say they were leaked. I don't like that word anymore. but documents were probably not meant to be public, okay, that were made available regarding the research and development of vaccines relating to Zika virus this was in 2015, 2016, and to the licensing of patented inventions developed by the Public Health Services Authority under the Public Health Service PHS Act provides further authority for the transfer of research materials and data through material transfer agreements, MPAs. Collectively, these authorities encourage product development, stimulate economic development and international cooperativeness, and also allow for financial benefit to be shared by federal scientists and their research programs based on the development of inventions by their independent efforts, as well as joint research collaborations with scientists from other organizations. So, sounds great. Reed Adler, I don't think he's any relation to my friend Aaron, at the time was the director of the National Technology Office of Technology Transfer for the National Institutes of Health. So 1992. So again, I don't think this stuff obviously isn't online at this period of time. You're going to need to get a print copy. And here's a record of the NIH CDC board, different people who are on it. Obviously, Reed Adler is leading it at this point, John Ferguson. There's one specific name I don't see listed on here on the Foreign Planning Committee, which we will mention later. He might be somewhere on the list of people that you can contact. So this document here is just the technology transfer availability. It's like a record. You can open it up and go, wow, I wonder if there's anything in here I can seek, right? I can take this technology, that's available, and I can get grant money and I can start a company from it. Again, sounds great. How many people knew about this stuff? How many people knew that there were all these opportunities available? And again, people who ask questions, raise their hand, as Eric Lander said, and seek this stuff out, of course, are going to have or have already demonstrated initiative and are going to be more likely to see to it that these companies or these technologies would result in profitable, self-sustaining businesses someday. I understand that, but I never knew. If this type of opportunity is made available, I mean, you could say, well, they made a document. That's good enough. You need to know to look for it. But at the same time, man, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I grew up in a cop family. I didn't know options like this were out there even. And if you did know options out there like this were out there, you're in a very good position. You're in a blessed position that most, scrubby, blue-collar, everyday Americans just don't have. So you could see how immediately favorable it would be to be within the academic realm within the United States. All of these opportunities just going to be thrown in front of you. Adhesions, aging, AIDS, HIV, antisense technology, cardiovascular cell biology, all types of cancer. Oh my goodness, immunology, diagnostics, obesity, virology, pharmacology. I mean, all kinds of stuff that are listed out in this several 100-page document. And what types of names will you find in this document? Well, if you do a Control F, go to Gallo. At least 5 mentions of Robert Gallo. Robert Gallo of the National Cancer Institute, National Institutes of Allergies and Infectious Diseases. Actually, 23 it's found so far. It's still finding more. He was also Division of Cancer Etiology. And you can see the companies that he might have been associated with, etc. His name pops up in this document a lot. And then here you can go to like an individual licensing option. Here's this one for molecular cloning of the HIV virus from immortalized cell lines. Available for anyone. Robert Gallo, Fisher, Shaw, F. Wong Stahl, Flossie Wong Stahl. That's right. That's the woman that she's passed just a few years ago. The scientist that Robert Gallo actually had an affair with. She fathered one of his children. But I think she was a very capable, anyways, virologist, if you will, geneticist in her own right. And here, this was filed on February 12th, 1992. And I'll just read the description. Immortalized cell lines. Immortalized cells containing the entire HIV viral genome are useful for producing specific viral proteins for developing diagnostic procedures and vaccines. Wow. Isn't it amazing that all of this great vaccine technology comes out of studying HIV? Isn't it just quite a coincidence that HIV came out accidentally? Oh, it was found in a monkey. Oh, an accidentally contaminated batch. That's how that stuff got in there. Oopsie doopsie. Anyways, I'm getting a little bit off topic, but let's be honest. The whole backstory of HIV being some type of accidental contamination from a monkey is baloney. It's just absolutely baloney. It's phony baloney. I don't know how else to say it. The whole SV40, it was the 40th monkey that had it. That whole story is a hoax. It's an engineered story because they knew darn well what type of extractions, which plasmas were doing what. And they just needed to find a way to be able to, or cover story to describe why this stuff is popping up in a bunch of people, because it was actually injected into many, many Americans intentionally as part of the polio vaccine. It was not an accident. Come on. It didn't come out of a monkey lab in New Orleans. Come on. Let's be honest. Let's just be honest. They started speculating about this stuff after after vaccines gone wild, the 1918 flu, and a lot of soldiers getting sick. It evolved in the 1930s. Experimentation was done on prisoners in the 1940s. Experimentation was done on the U.S. military, which describes the hepatitis breakout. And then after World War II, they needed even more people to test on because they were getting greedier and greedier and greedier. So they said, well, let's just dump chemicals in the center of the U.S. We'll make some kids sick. They'll be immobilized. And now we'll be able to have a vaccine rollout on the entire population. And if you think that's crazy, why is it that's the same small group of people involved in all three of those things? How is it that Shope and Melissa Moore and Kaprowski are involved in all three of those things? How is that possible? It's not possible. It's not possible for that to be an accident. And then for years later, for Kaprowski to be one of the co-founders of Centocor and mentoring Plotkin and all of the other people who were key founders and the scientists of Inovio and viral genomics. It's not possible for that to be an accident. Anyways, sorry, it's a little bit of a rant, something that's been building up inside of me. And then there's these licensing contacts. So if you find this Todd Leonard, whose contact information is in here, and say, hey, this sounds like it's something up my alley. You know, me and my friend Gustav, we used to have a wallpapering business. We did we made a lot of money in the 70s putting up paneling and wallpaper. But now it's 1992 and people don't want paneling and wallpaper anymore. So I was thinking, hey, maybe we should clone some HIV. I found this document. It was sitting at the Dunkin' Donuts, and boom, that's right. That's exactly what I want to do. So that's why I'm calling you, Todd. Anyways, there's many, many, many mentions of Gallo here. And you'll find other scientists as well. Oh, look at this one here. Method to induce cytotoxic T cell, specific for a broad array of HIV-1 isolates using hybrid synthetic peptides. This is amazing because on this one here, okay, it's Jay Berzofsky and a bunch of Japanese men or women. I don't know. Jay Berzofsky. Oh, that's right. Jay Berzofsky. Isn't he really, really close with Annie DeGroot and Robert Malone? Oh, that's right. So here's a technology grant you can get here. And in this case, you contact the same Todd Leonard. Novel hybrid synthetic peptid with immune dysfunction or dysregulation. This new method directly tests helper T cells function as based on antigen-induced interleukin-2 IL-2 production. The system can be used to test for AIDS and other autoimmune disorders. It may also be used to determine allogenic tissue compatibility. Again, of course, to test for tissue compatibility. You know why? Because your immune system doesn't exist to protect you against wiggling germs. Your immune system exists to ensure that the stuff that's in your body is supposed to be in your body. And it does that by identifying positively that things that are in your body identify themselves as being part of your body. And that doesn't mean, oh, it's a human kidney. It means, no, that's my human kidney made because my genetic signatures are within it. If somehow another person's kidney wound up getting shoved into my arm, that's no good. I'm going to want to kick that sucker out. And that's where the immune system comes into play. So, of course, that's why all of this genetics and the genomics research, I should say, virology, immunology, etc., is also testing tissues and tissue compatibility. Because it's not really about an immune system that protects you against bacteria and viruses. It's about a system that is in place to positively identify that things that are in your body are of your body. And if they're not, whether they're chemicals, whether it's a nail, whether it's someone else's brain, whether it's blood from a monkey, dirt, rocks, whatever, if it's not in your body, the system deals with it. If it's in your body, I should say, if it's in your body but not made by your body, it needs to deal with it somehow. Maybe it won't succeed. But that's what your immune system is for. It's very, very poorly named. Because you can't exactly become immune to nails being injected into your body. Your body deals with them one at a time. Matter of fact, I wonder sometimes if it's really possible to become immune to anything. I think the very fact that it's called an immune system is in and of itself reinforcing the mythology. You don't become immune to having nails injected into you. You don't become immune to being shot with bullets. You don't become immune to your foot getting caught into a wood chipper. You don't become immune to blood from chickens being injected into you. Your body deals with it. And eventually, if you punish your body enough, it won't be able to recover. I mean, you have the candle is only so big. You don't become immune to this stuff. It's all freaking mythology. Anyways, so there's a lot of names that you'll see listed in this technology transfer document that I have listed on my archives, which are quite huge. There's a Sam Broder here, antiviral compounds and their uses. Samuel Broder, you know who that is? That's the guy who invented AZT. That's Mr. AZT himself. You'll see Fauci's name listed on here. So all of these, infamous scientists have participated in this type of stuff. And you can see if you're not only in a position to be on your name on a paper, but you're also helping franchise out. Here's another one. Characterization of replication competent HIV-2 proviral clone. This is with a Franchini, again, Flossie Wong Stahl, Gallo. Only 3 names on this one. This one was filed on March 31st, 1989. In 1992, they still can't find somebody. Again, this one's with Todd Leonard. Now, Todd Leonard isn't the only guy whose name pops up pretty extensively on here. Another name that I wanted to draw your attention to. Let me see here. It's an interesting last name. John Fauner Viltelek. Fauner Viltelek. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that poorly. Oh, come on. Oh, please. If it's going to have to download that whole document again. Okay. Well, anyways. While that's downloading here, that gives me an opportunity to perhaps read a couple things. So John Fauner Viltelek, he was actually one of a Time Magazine 100 People That Matter in 1997. He did a marathon across Antarctica, which is impressive in and of itself. First of all, if it's impressive, you have an opportunity to do that. It's impressive that you do it if you're given the opportunity. It's also impressive, I think, if you're missing a leg. And I think he had a very serious injury sometime in the late 1980s and 1990s. His car rolled off the road, and he was actually stranded. Let's see here. Yeah, it was one of the more impressive 2 things. He participated in World Ride 1995. I don't know if he's got all this time to be, bicycling and running across Antarctica. How does he have time to deal with all the technology transfer work? Jeepers creepers. I barely have. Look, it's been 6 months since I've even gotten a haircut. I'm finally going this afternoon, by the way, because I'm so busy. And I'm not managing technology transfer for the NIH. But anyways, he was in the Army for 3.5 years. Rigorous training, advanced survival techniques, tactics, unconventional warfare. 1976, he borrowed a company car to visit Mount Rainier. On September 11th, 1976, what a date. Instead of returning to Portland after a day of hiking on the mountain, he decided to treat himself to Mount Hood, a route to which he traced out on a map via wilderness roads through Gifford, Pinchot National Forest. On the way there, rounding a hairpin turn in the mountains, he veered onto his shoulder, which inexplicably gave out beneath his tires, sending him plummeting 150 feet down a steep ravine towards a creek. The Mercury wagon landed upside down just a dozen feet from the stream. He was not wearing a seatbelt, found himself trapped, ironically, in a sprinter stance, belly down and facing the tailgate. A pine root had pierced the car's windshield, pinning his left foot to the dashboard. He couldn't get free, so anyways, it was a long, horrible 3 to 4 or 1 week survival story. Kind of inspired by a movie, if you will. Oh, now we can go back to our technology transfer document. Okay, so his name first shows up here towards the beginning. National Center for Research Sources Licensing, the NCRR, and you'll find 148 references. There's 148 technology transfer opportunities here, represented by John Fauner Viltelek as of 1992 in this NIH technology transfer document. 148. And we'll go through some of them. Probe for thermospray mass spectrometry. Wow, that's interesting. Separation of rare earth elements with high-speed countercurrent chromatography. Wow. You can see how this stuff would be really useful if you're trying to purify vaccines. Let's see here, but a little bit more on the electrical engineering side. In his defense, apparatus for countercurrent chromatography separation and stable methods for monitoring the effluent thereof. Oh, analysis of renal function. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Liquid chromatography. So you can just go through and read the rest of them and see the scientists that he was associated with. Anyways, I don't have the document in front of me. He was fairly well respected by Fauci, and he stayed at the NIH managing these technology transfers until 1999, 2000, at which time he transferred to the University of Rochester and managed the University of Rochester's technology transfer. So, stock pot holder. So some of these don't really directly relate to, genetics and vaccines and so on, but a lot of them would relate to the manufacturing thereof. And it's just worth noting. I think I just kind of wanted to highlight how big and how serious this technology transfer program was. It wasn't just a few colleges did it. These are people at the very top, all the way from Gallo and Fauci. Will you find Fauci's name mentioned in here? I think it's probably doing a scan right now. Brzozowski. I know there's more than 3 references for Brzozowski in here. A method of producing improved immune response. Anyways, now it's on 5. Yeah, it'll find more and more and more. So I just kind of wanted to highlight that this is I believe it's still in place, but at the very least was a very big program, fully staffed. There was a whole department staffed with people who are out, running marathons across Antarctica, and so on, who you can call somehow, if they're still available on the phone, at least their secretary is, and say, hey, I want, the hot dog stand didn't work out. Now I want to get involved in HIV. Someone is there to help find the right opportunity for you. They have the technology, they have the grant money, and I think they will even help you get started. And I think one of my points why I did this one, first of all, to highlight how big this program really was, and to show that it's real, and to show that the top names, like the Gallos, are right there, is that one of the most referenced names in this document with respect to having technology transfer opportunities available was a guy who, first of all, has kind of a very interesting story, but also went to the University of Rochester in 1999 and 2000, where he would have facilitated, for example, the Todderman family and their transfer of intellectual property from the University of Rochester into the Virtual Scopics and then ultimately the iCardiac startups. It doesn't just come out of the blue. And it's really, really helpful to have a mom running the radiology department, working with the officials who are responsible for technology transfer, who identify such opportunities. This is the way you get a good start on making your millions and getting rich, and a path, and that just most other scrubby dirt kicking Americans just aren't quite aware of, unfortunately. But that's all I really wanted to cover today, and now I am joyously scheduled for a haircut within the next hour, so I'm excited about that. Hope everyone is doing well. I don't know why. I've interviewed December 19th, 2021 showing on the screen. Why? There is no interview. I must have hit the wrong button here. Anyways, sorry about the confusion there. So that's it, everyone. Thank you. Take care. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more later. God bless.